Hi dear students, in this video series we have been discussing basic English grammar. These videos are especially intended for third semester BA English students in which they have to study a paper that is known as English grammar and usage. I have done a lot of videos previously in relation with the grammar in English, basic English grammar related with subject, verb, agreement, auxiliaries, making negative sentences, making questions as well. You have to watch those videos at first, then you have to follow these tense series. We are going to learn all the tenses in English, the 12 tenses in English. In this video, we are going to discuss simple present tense. Before that, we will generally discuss what is tense and what are the categories of these tenses in English. Welcome back to this lesson. There are mainly three tenses in English. These three tenses are present, past, and future tense. These three tenses are again divided into four. That means present is divided into four, past is divided again into four, future is also again divided into four. In present, we have the first tense, that is simple present tense, then present continuous, then present perfect tense, then present perfect continuous. Then in past, we have simple past tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, and past perfect continuous tense. In future also, we have simple future tense, future continuous, and future perfect and future perfect continuous tenses. We will learn all these 12 tenses in English. Now we are going to discuss simple present tense. Before that, we can ask a question: what is tense? Tense is related with time. ടെൻസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എപ്പോഴും സമയവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. ഒരു ആക്ഷൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ക്രിയ ഏത് സമയത്തിലാണോ ഏത് കാലത്തിലാണോ പ്രവർത്തിക്കപ്പെട്ടത് അതിനനുസരിച്ച് സമയവുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ട് ആ ക്രിയയെ ആ ആക്ഷനെ നമ്മൾ പറയുന്നതിനെയാണ് ടെൻസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. The verb forms V1, V2, V3 and ing forms. These we have learned in the first video, irregular verbs, that you have to learn all those irregular verbs in English, that is V1, V2, V3. The verb forms which show differences in time are called tenses, that is V1, V2, V3. Tenses are formed either by changing the forms of the verb V1, V2 or V3. V1 will be changed into V2, V1 will be changed into V3 likewise, or by adding auxiliary verbs to these verbs in English. So we move on to simple present tense. You remember that we have learned 18th, 19th auxiliaries as do and does. The usage of do and does are the simple present tense. We can have a definition and we can make a lot of detailed examples in English. The simple present tense denotes a usual action. The action can be a habit or a hobby, a daily event, a scheduled event, or something that often happens, or a fact or a truth also expressed in this simple present tense. If we say some examples, he writes a letter. അവൻ ഒരു കത്ത് എഴുതുന്നു. They play football. അവർ ഫുട്ബോൾ കളിക്കുന്നു. I play tennis. ഞാൻ ടെന്നീസ് കളിക്കുന്നു. She drives the car. അവൾ കാറ് ഓടിക്കുന്നു. എന്നിങ്ങനെ കളിക്കുന്നു, വായിക്കുന്നു, എഴുതുന്നു എന്നിങ്ങനെ ന്നു എന്ന് അവസാനിക്കുന്ന പ്രയോഗമാണ് മലയാളത്തിൽ നമുക്ക് പറയാം. അങ്ങനെ പറയാം, ആ പ്രയോഗത്തിനെയാണ് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലെ സിമ്പിൾ പ്രസൻറ്റ് ടെൻസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. യു റിമെമ്പർ ദാറ്റ് വി ഹാവ് റിട്ടൺ ദീസ് മീനിങ് ഇൻ V1 ഫോം ഓഫ് ദ ഇറഗുലർ വെർബ്സ് ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ദ ഫസ്റ്റ് വീഡിയോ. Simple present tense is the use of do or does in sentences. That means does or do plus V1 form. These only agree with V1 form of the verb. Adding s or es along with V1 form in third person singular subject. That means does plus V1 becomes that verb in simple present tense, and not adding s or es along with V1 in all other subjects. That means I and all other plural subjects in English. Does plus V1 ചെയ്യുന്നു, പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നു എന്നുള്ള മീനിങ് ആണ് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുക. Does agrees only with third person singular subjects, and does will be hidden in V1 with s or es at last in the V1 form. We have to split the auxiliary from V1 for making negative sentences and questions as well. Third person singular subjects means that he, she, it, name of a person, name of a country, likewise. അപ്പോൾ ഡസ് V1ൻ്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ മാത്രമേ വരാൻ പാടുള്ളൂ. എപ്പോഴാണ് നമ്മൾ ഡസ് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്? സബ്ജക്റ്റ് തേർഡ് പേഴ്സൺ സിംഗുലർ സബ്ജക്റ്റുകൾ മാത്രമാണെങ്കിലാണ് ഡസ് നമ്മൾ V1 ഉള്ളിൽ ഉപയോഗിക്കുക. V1 ഒളിഞ്ഞു കിടക്കുകയായിരിക്കും ഡസ്. നമുക്കുള്ള ഒരു സൂചന എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ആ വേർബിനുള്ളിൽ ഒരു എസ്ഒ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇഎസ്ഒ അവസാനത്തിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കും എന്നുള്ളത് മാത്രമാണ്. In the case of do plus V1 is also simple present tense, same as the meaning. ചെയ്യുന്നു, പ്രവർത്തിക്കുന്നു, വരുന്നു, എഴുതുന്നു എന്നൊക്കെയാണ്. Do agrees with all plurals, that is we, they, you, those, these, etc. And I also goes with do in simple present tense. I, we, you, they, those, these, do plus V1. Do will be hidden in the verb, and we have to split it for making negative sentences and questions as well. Here, look at this example. Here, go is a verb. Here, go plus do, that becomes go. Come plus do becomes come in the sentences. When we use do in verb, there is no hint of s or es in the verb form. That means the verb is packed with do, not does in the V1 form of the sentence. Does or do വെർബിനുള്ളിൽ ഒളിഞ്ഞിരിക്കുകയായിരിക്കും ചെയ്യുക. Split does or do from the verb to make negative sentences and questions. As I told you, for making negative sentences and questions, we have to split these do or does from the verb. That means does plus V1 and do plus V1. Does plus go becomes goes in the example of go. Do plus come becomes come in the example of come. You have to think of the final video in auxiliaries do, does and did. To identify the simple present tense, always we use some time words used for simple present tense. These words are connected with simple present time. That means usually, പതിവായി, generally, പൊതുവായി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പൊതുവെ, always, എല്ലായ്പ്പോഴും, everyday, നിത്യവും അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എല്ലാ ദിവസവും, often, മിക്കപ്പോഴും, frequently, കൂടെ കൂടെ, daily, നിത്യവും. These words will express the simple present tense. If we see these words in a sentence, we have to change those sentences into simple present tense. We can look at some examples. In these examples, usually he dash write a letter to his father. We have to use the correct form of the verb, that is given in the bracket, that is right here. Usually he writes a letter to his father. That means here does plus write becomes writes, because he is the third person singular subject in the sentence. We have to use for the all third person singular subjects only does along with V1. When does comes along with V1, that becomes an S or ES form at the end. In the second example, she always drives the car. That means she always drives the car. Drive plus does here becomes drives in the sentence. In the next sentence, the man dash buy a pen often. The man buys a pen often. Here, does plus buy becomes buys in the sentence because the man is third person singular subject. And in the next sentence, James dash sent a message every Saturday. Every Saturday is a time word used for simple present tense. So it is a repeated action. So James sends a message every Saturday. Here does plus sent becomes sends in the sentence. So it is written in simple present tense. In the first sentence we have an indication that is usually. In the second sentence we have an indication that is always. Third sentence we have often. In the fourth sentence every Saturday. These are either daily or repeated actions. They will be expressed in simple present tense only. Then look at these examples. Usually I dash play cricket. Here the subject is I, so we have to use do in V1. Usually I play cricket. Do plus play becomes play in the sentence. പതിവായി ഞാൻ ക്രിക്കറ്റ് കളിക്കുന്നു. We dash go to Calicut. We go to Calicut. Do plus go here is the go, so ഞങ്ങൾ കാലിക്കറ്റിലേക്ക് പോകുന്നു. You dash read a novel every Sunday. You read a novel every Sunday. Do plus read becomes read in the sentence. Every Sunday used as a time word in the sentence. Generally they dash sleep in the room. Generally they sleep in the room. Do plus sleep becomes sleep in the sentence. Here we have used the plural subjects we, they, you and the first person singular I. For these subjects we have to use do. That means we don't add s or es along with the V1 form. That means these verbs do not agree with does in the sentence but only agree with do in the sentence. See these examples. The train leaves tonight at 6 p.m. Here leave plus does becomes leaves because the train is a third person singular subject. The bus arrives at 11 p.m. Arrive plus does becomes arrives in the sentence because the bus is a third person singular. The party starts at 8 o'clock. Here does plus start becomes starts because the party is a third person singular, so s or es added along with the verb that is start. John eats a piece of cake. Here does plus eat becomes eats because John is a third person singular, so s is added with eats. That s indicates a does is included in the V1 form, that is eat. Then we can look at some examples how to change into negative sentences these simple present tenses. The train leaves tonight at 6 p.m. That means leave plus does here becomes leaves. So we have split the auxiliary that is does from the sentence. The train does not leave tonight at 6 p.m. If we have taken the auxiliary from the sentence, again we don't use S form along with the verb. The next sentence, the bus arrives at 11 p.m. Arrive plus does becomes arrives. When we change the sentence into a negative, the bus does not. Not is added along with the auxiliary, that is does in the sentence. Arrive at 11 p.m. The party starts at 8 o'clock. Does plus start becomes starts in the sentence. So the party does not start at 8 o'clock. Here the party is third person singular, so does is used along with start. John eats a piece of cake. Does plus eat becomes eats in the sentence. So John does not eat a piece of cake. John ഒരു കഷ്ണം കേക്ക് തിന്നുന്നില്ല എന്നാണ് അർത്ഥം നമുക്ക് കിട്ടുക. The train does not leave tonight at 6 p.m. ഇന്ന് രാത്രി 6 മണിക്ക് ട്രെയിൻ പുറപ്പെടുന്നില്ല എന്നുള്ള മീനിങ് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടും. These sentences are changed into negative sentences. This is written in simple present tense and sentence is written in negative form. Then we can see how a question is made from simple present tense. Look at these examples. The same sentences, the train leaves tonight at 6 p.m. Here, does the train leave tonight at 6 p.m.? We have split the auxiliary does from the verb that is leaves and put it in the subject position. Does the train leave tonight at 6 p.m.? Then question mark at the end. When the bus arrives at 11 p.m., arrive plus does becomes arrives. Then we have to split does from arrives. Does the bus arrive at 11 p.m.? Then the party starts at 8 o'clock. Here does plus start becomes starts. So we have to split does from the verb starts, then put it in the subject position. Does the party start at 8 o'clock? Then a question mark at the end. John eats a piece of cake. Does plus eat here becomes eats. So we have to split does from eats. So does John eat a piece of cake? Please pause the video and change these verbs into simple present tense. It dash rain in Kerala. Rajesh dash watch television every day. Bees dash make honey. Dogs dash eat meat. My grandfather dash live in Mumbai. I dash work every Saturday. You have to look at the time words that is given in the sentences, then change into simple present tense form. Either you have to use does along with V1 or you have to use do along with V1. Look at the answers here. It dash rain in Kerala, that becomes it rains in Kerala. That means does plus rain becomes rains in the sentence. Rajesh dash watch television every day. Rajesh watches television every day. Every day is the time word here, so does plus watch becomes watches. Bees make honey, because in this sentence do plus make becomes make in the sentence. So bees make honey. It is a truth or a fact. Dogs dash eat meat. Here also dogs eat meat. Dogs is plural as in the case of bees as well. So eat is used along with the do. My grandfather is singular. So my grandfather lives in Mumbai. I dash work every Saturday. I work every Saturday. So do plus work here becomes work in the sentence. So you have to practice it. You have to do a lot of sentences like this and make into simple present tense. Then look at these sentences. You have to change it into simple present tense. Usually Sally dash drive her kids to football practice. Usually is the time word, so we have to use does along with drive. Thus it becomes usually Sally drives her kids to football practice. In the second sentence, always John dash sleep in his room. Always is the time word, so we have to use does along with sleep. Thus it becomes always John sleeps in his room. Then he dash play tennis frequently. In this sentence, frequently is the time word, so we have to change play into plays using does along with play. He plays tennis frequently. Then look at these sentences. She always dash forget her purse. Always is the time word, so forget becomes forgets. That means does plus forget becomes forgets. He never dash take his wallet. He never takes his wallet. So it's a usual action. Never is the, so take plus does becomes takes in the sentence. The postman dash bring a letter. The postman brings a letter. Girls dash read a novel. Girls read a novel, because girls here used as plural subject, so it becomes do plus read becomes read in the sentence. Girls read a novel. Then look at these sentences. Here we have split the auxiliary from the verb, then used it in the sentence as an independent auxiliary. I do play cricket. I do play cricket and I play cricket are same in meaning. Likewise, we do go to Calicut. That means we go to Calicut. How do we do like this? To give an emphasis for that action, we have split the auxiliary from the sentence and used it independently in the sentence. You do read a novel. They do buy a flat. Cats do like milk. Birds do fly in the sky. Children do speak English. Children speak English and children do speak English are same in meaning, and we have used the auxiliary do as an independent verb in the sentence. Then see the sentences. Pause the video, you change into simple present tense form. Every day I dash play cricket. That becomes every day I play cricket, because every day is the time word there, so do plus play becomes play in the sentence. Then every Sunday we dash go to Calicut. Here every Sunday is a time word, so do plus go here becomes go. Every Sunday we go to Calicut. The man dash buy a flat. The man is a third person singular subject, so we have to add does along with buy. Does plus buy here becomes buys. The man buys a flat. The cat dash like milk. In this sentence, the cat dash like milk. The cat is a third person singular subject, so we have to add does along with like. Thus it becomes the cat likes milk. The child dash speak English. The child is also third person singular subject, so we have to add does along with speak. Thus it becomes the child speaks English. See these sentences. I play cricket. Do plus play here becomes play. Then in the giving emphasis we can see I do play cricket. Likewise, we go to Calicut. Does plus go here becomes we do go to Calicut. Likewise, you can read here and you have to pause the video and understand very well these sentences. I have given some exercise here. You please do the exercise. strike the incorrect words in the sentence. That means you have to select correct subject for the verb that is used in the sentence. First one is example, we bar my friend always wears old clothes. Here look at the verb that is wears. So does plus wear here becomes wears. So does only agrees with third person singular in the sentence. My friend is the third person singular. So my friend always wears old clothes is correct sentence. Then first sentence, we all the boss thinks you are wonderful. Which is the verb there? Things. In things, you does plus think becomes things in the sentence. So when we add does to auxiliary, when it is third person singular subject, which is the third person singular subject in the sentence, we all or the boss. Surely you know the boss. So the correct answer is the boss thinks you are wonderful. We have to strike off we all. Then second sentence, bread bar books cost a lot. Here look at the sentence and see the verb cost. Here there is no S form along with V1 that is cost in the sentence. So you can understand when we use do along with verb when the subject is plural. So here books used as a plural subject, so we have to use books cost a lot. That means books do cost a lot. Bread is striked. Third sentence, our cat dash our cats never catches mice. See the verb catches here. That means catch here becomes does plus catch becomes catches. Does is added along with V1 catch when we add does along with V1 when it is third person singular subject. So our cat never catches mice in the sentence. Our cats is incorrect, so we have to strike off that our cats. Correct sentence is our cat never catches mice. In the next sentence, the child bar children makes a lot of noise. In this sentence, verb is makes. That makes is does plus make have become makes. So surely we have to use third person singular subject in the sentence. So the child makes a lot of noise. Because children is plural, if we use children as the subject in the sentence, we can say that sentence as children make a lot of noise. But the verb is makes, so we have to use the child makes a lot of noise. Fifth and final sentence, my father bar my father and mother teaches English. In this sentence, you can see here verb as teaches. That means does plus teach here becomes teachers. So we have to use third person singular subject in the sentence. So my father teaches English. My father and mother used as plural subject in the sentence. So we have to strike off my father and mother. The correct sentence is my father teaches English. Then see the next exercises. Make negative sentences. Use don't or doesn't. We have discussed don't or doesn't or how to make negative sentences in the previous video. You have to watch that video to make a clear understanding how an English sentence is made into negative form. Example, I play chess. That means you have to change the negative sentence using that is given word in the bracket. That means I play chess is a positive sentence. That means you can see there a cards in the bracket. you have to make negative sentence using that word in the bracket. That means I don't play cards. Here you can use the same subject and same verb and as well object, but you have to use the negative for what is given in the bracket. He likes jazz. That is positive sentence. We have to make negative sentence for that is the word in the bracket. That means he doesn't like pop music. The train stops at Shonur. Here the verb is stops, so does plus stop becomes stops. So we have to split the auxiliary does from the verb stops. The train does not stop at Tirur. Then third, Deepu remembers names very well. The verb is remembers. That remembers is does plus remember becomes remembers. So we have to split does from the verb and use not along with that does. So Deepu does not remember faces very well. Then fourth sentence is children play football on Mondays. That means play is the verb. That means there is a do in the play. So children don't play hockey on Mondays. Then fifth and final sentence, my mother teaches engineering. Here teaches is the verb. That means does plus teach here teaches. So my mother does not teach biology. In these sentences, all of the rules that is connected with how to make a negative sentence applicable here as well. You have to watch the previous video related with negative sentence making in English. See these examples to change into questions. How to change simple present tense into questions. Example, they smoke. Here do plus smoke becomes smoke. So which is the auxiliary hidden in the verb do. So do they smoke? In that sentence, there is the plural. So do comes in the verb. In the sentence B, Monica teaches French. Here subject is Monica. It is a third person singular subject. So does is added with teach. Thus it becomes teaches. Then how will be the question? Does Monica teach French? Then question word. Likewise, you have to think and change into questions. The Calicut bus stops here. Look at the verb stops. Here does is added with stop. So does is the auxiliary. We have to split does and change into question. Does the Calicut bus stop here? Then second sentence, the teachers know her. Here the verb is know. That means do plus know is know here in the sentence. Because the teachers used in the sentence as plural. So teachers know her. How will be the question? Do the teachers know her? Third sentence is you play the piano. In the sentence, play is used as a plural verb and plural auxiliary do plus play because you is a plural subject. You play the piano. How will be the question? Do you play the piano? Then fourth sentence is my brother works in a restaurant. Here in the verb works, that works is does plus work have became works in the sentence because my brother is a third person singular subject. So my brother works in a restaurant. Then how will be the question? Does my brother work in a restaurant? Or does your brother work in a restaurant? Then fifth sentence is we need more eggs. In this sentence, need is the verb, there is do plus need because we here used as a plural verb. So, do you need more eggs? Or question will be, do we need more eggs? Likewise. So, you have to watch the previous video that is connected with making negative sentences and making questions as well, and make a thorough understanding how to make these kind of negative sentences and questions as well. Then we can look at some uses of simple present tense. These are the most important uses of simple present tense. First use of this tense is to express a habitual action, habits of a person or common habits in daily life will be expressed in this tense. Example, I get up at 6 every day. This paper appears twice weekly. I go to church on Sundays. She goes to college every day by bus. So these are the some habitual actions that must be expressed in simple present tense. So ശീലങ്ങൾ പറയുവാനാണ് നമ്മൾ സിമ്പിൾ പ്രസൻറ്റ് ടെൻസ് ആദ്യമായിട്ട് ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്നത്. Then we have discussed already some time words at the beginning of this video. Not here, not the use of adverbs of frequency, every day, twice, weekly, and on Sundays in the above examples. The other common adverbs of frequency are always, after, usually, never, generally, occasionally, rarely, seldom, daily, annually, monthly, etc. So these are the connected time words connected with the simple present tense. If you see these words in a sentence, that verb must be changed into simple present tense. The second use of simple present tense is to express the neutral present. That means a present action for which no particular time is thought of. Without having any time word, we can express some actions in simple present tense. That means here example, boys play football. In this sentence, there is no time word indicated. So it is a neutral action, neutral present. In the second sentence, dogs make better pets than cats. Here also there is no time indication. So here this tense is expressed in neutral present. Do you sing? I can swim, etc. are used in this simple present tense. The third use of simple present tense is to express the actual present. That means an action occurring at the time of speaking or writing. Example, I see an aeroplane. The principal wants to speak to you. Then fourth one is to express permanent truths or factual events. The sun rises in the east. Honesty is the best policy. Bees make honey, etc. are truths. So permanent truths must be expressed in simple present tense. Then fifth use is to express the notion of a permanent state. The Himalayas are on the north of India. Port Blair is the capital of the Andamans. In these sentences, is and are used auxiliaries. So these are expressed in simple present tense. Is, are as the present auxiliaries that you have to remember. When it is used without having a V1 ing, that tense will be simple present tense. The sixth use of simple present tense is it is used in newspaper headlines. Mass murderer escapes. Man reaches the moon. The Prime Minister visits Kerala. The king passes away. These are some newspaper headlines used simple present tense. Then seventh use is to express a planned future action. I leave for Mumbai next week. The Prime Minister visits Kerala next month. These actions are planned in future, but it can be expressed in simple present tense. Then eighth one is in imperative sentences like to suggest or to make an order, etc. Please go out. Pray for me are imperative sentences in which V1 is used. Please go out. Pray for me. Pray, etc. So we can see here do as the auxiliary in these imperative sentences. Then ninth one is in exclamatory sentences. In exclamatory sentences, what a handsome boy he is. This is a sentence which is expressed in exclamatory. How warm it is. In these sentences, it is used in simple present tense. So you can see in the first sentence, what a handsome boy he is. Then how warm it is. Likewise. Then 10th use is in dramatic narratives, that also called the historic present. When the curtain rises, Juliet is writing at her desk. Here you can see rises. It is used in simple present tense. Suddenly the window opens and a masked man enters. Here opens and enters are used in simple present tense. There is does as the auxiliary in these two verbs in that sentence. 11th one is it is also used in conditional clauses and subordinate clauses expressing future time. If I see Tom, here in the verb see, V1 is used as if I see Tom, I shall tell him. When it stops raining, we shall go out. Here, when it stops raining, stops is used in simple present tense. In the verb stops, there is does hidden in the auxiliary. That does plus stop becomes stops. To understand and learn thoroughly, you have to practice a lot of sentences and change those sentences into negative and questions as well in simple present form. You practice, practice and practice. Continuous practice make a man perfect. Thank you for watching this video. Next video will be uploaded soon. Present continuous tense.